You are not perfect. You never will be perfect. So stop trying to be perfect and ending up depressed and unhappy. We often hear that striving for perfection leads to success and fulfillment, but the reality is actually the complete opposite, I've found. And oftentimes it can trap us in a cycle of frustration and unhappiness. If you're anything like me, whenever you start a new project or a new game, or maybe even you're trying to start a business, you go online, you search up every single thing about this project, this business that you're trying to start. What are the best ways to win in this video game? How do you get better at this video game? What are the perfect strategies to market your new business, your product? How do you create a perfect YouTube video? Things like that. Just non-stop searching, researching, hours and hours on end. Every hour of every day, whenever you have time, you're searching. You're on your phone at work, you're searching, you're looking up, you're researching how to do this, how to do that. You're trying to get advice from people who have already done it. And what ends up happening, with me anyways, is I'll do all this research and I'll spend all this time trying to figure out how to do it the right way before ever even starting, that I never even start. I end up, when I wanted to, for YouTube, for example, when I wanted to start making YouTube videos years ago, I spent hours and hours like watching videos of other people who have already been successful at YouTube. And I would look up, when's the best time to post a video? How do you edit a video? And then I got into this whole rabbit hole about editing, and I would spend hours on watching videos to edit because, I can't make a perfect YouTube video if I can't edit it well. It has to have perfect editing. I have to have a good microphone. I have to get a good PC. I need to save up money so that I can get all this equipment. And rather than just starting and making a YouTube video, just going out and trying and doing it and be willing to fail and learn from that, I spent so much time wanting it to be so perfect that I never actually started. I'll give you another example. When I was in school, probably 4th or 5th grade, I was really into like magic tricks and science projects and puzzles, chess and checkers, games, board games, puzzles, stuff like that. And I really wanted to beat everybody. Like anything I did, I was like, I need to be number one at it. I need to be the best or I'm not going to do it. And Rubik's Cube, for example, I saw some kid had a world record solving a Rubik's Cube in like 12 seconds. And I went online and I watched a ton of YouTube videos like how to solve a Rubik's Cube, how to solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute, how to solve a Rubik's Cube in under 30 seconds. Nowadays, I actually just saw a video recently, now that I think about it. There's a guy that has a world record for fastest time to solve a Rubik's Cube, or fastest time to solve 3 Rubik's Cubes while juggling them with one hand, I think. Maybe it's 2 hands, whatever. Still, he solved 3 Rubik's Cubes while he was juggling them. I mean, absolutely insane. That guy might be a perfectionist. But my point still stands. I spent so much time, and then I finally got the Rubik's Cube, and I just, for hours and hours on end, I would just sit at home after school. I'd get home, I'd practice solving Rubik's Cube. I actually ended up not even doing my homework a lot of times during that phase because I was just so obsessed with trying to solve it. And I wanted to get it down like perfect. Like I wanted to have a shot at beating the world record. And I remember like I would go after school sometimes to stay with my grandma, and I would run the cash register at her store, and I would sit down like in between sales and like solve the Rubik's Cube. And I'd have my grandma, like when she's on break, I would have her record me or time me and see how fast I could do it. And I ended up getting it well under a minute. It was probably close to like 30 seconds, I think, is the fastest time that I solved it. But I could never, I might have been able to get the world record if I kept trying it for years and years and years, but I eventually, realized, holy crap, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get this world record. And then I ended up getting sad and depressed, and I threw away my Rubik's Cube and I just got rid of it and gave up. And I was, not depressed, but like I was pretty sad when I found that out. I was also a kid, granted, but I've I've noticed that that same mentality I've carried with me through most of my life. You know, I've started something, wanted to be really good at it, and then if I mess up or I fail in some way, I just I get sad, I get unhappy, and maybe not. I don't always get depressed, but I can definitely get in a depressive state of mind if I let it overcome me. And even Michael Phelps, for example, has a similar story with that, where he was like the golden child of swimming in the Olympics. He was always first, and then the news broke that he came out. Sorry, not, he didn't come out. What am I saying? The news broke that he was smoking weed. I was trying to say the news came out that he was smoking weed, but anyways, the news broke, and he didn't get first place in his races, and he ended up going into a depression because everyone's image of him had been shattered. People thought like, oh, this guy's like the perfect swimmer. He can't do anything wrong. He can't lose. And then he loses, and then everyone is, acting like they're shocked, like, holy crap, a human made a mistake? A human is not perfect? No way. And I realized like no one is perfect. I mean, that sounds obvious, but when you're like me and when you get into that, perfectionism state of mind, you really have to sit down and like remember and remind yourself that you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. And trying to be perfect is just going to cause you to be unhappy. Yes, there's an aspect of, trying to strive for perfection that is effective. And a lot of the top, UFC fighters, world champions, sports athletes at the top of their game have that mentality, and that's what causes them to be number one at what they do. But what does their mental state look like? How are they actually feeling? Are they happy? A lot of people have thousands of dollars, some of the best actors in the world, and they're just depressed. They ended up, I don't know if I can say this, but they unalive themselves, I guess is the way to say it on YouTube. I don't know. But they're depressed. And a lot of them will tell you that. Robin Williams, for example, he was a stand-up comedian, one of the best actors in the world. He spent his entire life making people laugh. And then he ended up, unaliving himself. It just goes to show that you could be absolutely number one at what you do, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. And if you're like me, striving to be perfect in everything that you do, it's a bad state of mind to have. So what I've learned over the years is that rather than trying to be perfect or chasing perfection, try to strive for progress, little wins every single day, 1% better, one day at a time. If you're making YouTube videos, post that first video, get feedback, rewatch it, see what you could improve on. And if you just try to get 1% better, I think even Mr. Beast says this, like, if you just try to improve one thing in your video every single time you upload, it's eventually going to accumulate over time, and you're going to grow and get better. And rather than focusing on making the perfect quality video, put out more videos, put out higher quantity of videos, and you'll learn over time how to get better. And I think I'm going to make another video about that a different day. But little bits of progress at a time is better than trying to strive for perfection all at once. And if you find yourself stuck in that cycle of perfectionism, remember it's okay to be imperfect. What matters is the journey, and focusing on growth, not perfection. The journey is the most important part because one day you're going to look back at all your achievements and you're going to be proud of your achievements, but what you're going to remember is the ride that you took to get to the top. That's what people remember the most. If you can relate to this, I'd like you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I read every single comment on every one of my videos, and every single one of those comments matter, and it also helps me grow and improve the videos I make, and I would like to hear your feedback. So if you have a similar situation or you can relate, go ahead and drop a comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.